Big congratulations to Joseph Barbera, comic fam. We're talking about the hottest comics in the world. Another week, another list. Gem Mint joining me. How you feeling, brother?
You know me, Tom. I'm doing great. How are you? And more importantly, how's the comic fam?
Feeling good. We got hot comics to discuss. Slap the like button, hit the subscribe. Stay tuned to the end. We got a giveaway on deck. We're talking about at the list at number 10, Steranko Goodness, Uncanny X-Men, issue number 50. Second appearance of Polaris.
You know, it's funny that this book always makes the list and not her first appearance in the issue prior. Is it that green cover? Is it Steranko vibes? Or is it the fact that we have that X-Men logo used for the very first time that's still being used to this day?
It's interesting to consider that X-Men 50 has double the amount of copies graded on the census to date compared to 49, which is also a Steranko cover and is a first appearance. Is it because Polaris is currently being utilized in the current X-Men run, or is it just because iconic X-Men covers are prime for speculation? Considering so many members are getting comics graded, that cover is mattering more and more by the day. We have 3 record breakers to report on, starting with the 8.0 that is selling for 3.5 times higher than it did a year ago. Last sale was back in June, selling for $800. To be outdone only 1%, but consistently rising, now selling for $810.
The CGC 9.6 sold for $3,500 back in April, and it's up 62%, now selling for $5,655.
Then we have the 9.8 sale. Number 10 on the list with a 94% increase. This is why you have to subscribe to the channel. This next sale is exactly why it's so pivotal that we follow these particular comics, regardless of how often they come up on our list. Because since May's last record breaker selling for $2,450, we have an increase, now selling for $7,200 this week.
That's a great point, Tom. We have reported on X-Men 50 numerous times, but this is the first time a 9.8 sold for $7,200. Moving on to number 9, it ain't all about Marvel. We got some DC love here with the first appearance of Barbara Gordon as Batgirl.
Detective Comics 359, the first appearance of the Killer Moth, but more importantly, the first appearance of Batgirl, which we know is slated for an HBO Max show with actress attached. We're talking Leslie Grace. We're talking about 3 record breakers this week. The 7.5 last week selling for $2,876 to be outdone with an increase of 21%, now selling for $3,466.
Then we got the 9.0. This sold for $4,800 back in June of 2020, and it's up 69%, selling for $8,100.
Monster high sales happening. A 9.4 back in 2018 could have been secured for $11,875 for this old book, the Silver Age book, this book that's difficult to secure in high grade. Well, that's up 33% this week, selling for $15,750. Shout out to Nate Made It over on Instagram for supplying us with our Batgirl newsletter print that went into the mail call this past month. This thing is gorgeous. The eyes follow you around the room.
Moving on to number 8, guys, we're talking about Ant-Man. We're talking about Hank Pym. We're talking Tales to Astonish 35. And did you see What If Episode 3?
Oh my gosh, man, it is so dope. I'm loving this animation, this adaptation of a style of comic books that so many comic fans love. What did you think about it?
Yeah, I liked it. It was a real whodunit. I was interested. I wanted to know who was taking out all the Avengers. And like you said, the animation style is solid. The sounds are great, especially the action scenes. I'm digging it.
Since they are utilizing the same sounds found in the live action movies, it makes the show so much more captivating, more mesmerizing. And this second appearance of Hank Pym, first as Ant-Man, has 3 records that I suspect is largely because members are securing blue chip keys by the day, but also are being reminded about their favorite superheroes by the week on Disney+. 3.0 had a record breaker. July put it at $858. It's up 14%, selling for $980. It's gonna clear a K.
Yeah, because if you look at the next grade up, a 3.5 sold for $1,130 back in June, and it's up 15%, now selling for $1,300.
This is a tough book. We haven't seen a publicly recorded sale of a 6.0 since 2014, and it was selling for less than what a reported 3.5 sale went this very week. Last record was $1,200 back in 2014, up 150%, selling for an easy $3K this week. Next on the list, being primed for speculation more and more, courtesy of the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, At number 7, Amazing Spider-Man Annual, number 1.
Yeah, man, it was all speculation except for some confirmed appearances, but when that trailer dropped and we heard that Green Goblin laugh, we saw Alfred Molina on screen reprising his role as Doc Ock, and if you look at all the Easter eggs teasing other members of the Sinister Six, this book is taking off. We're talking about a 1.0, which sold for $867 back in April, up 40%, now selling for $1,218.
The first appearance of the Sinister Six spiking because of a trailer this week yet again. A 5.5 back in June could have been secured for $2,524. That's up a staggering 46% this week, Comic Fam. Now selling for $3,675. The needles are moving.
But then we got the 8.5, a book that sold for $9,000 back in July, up 24%, breaking the 5-figure mark, selling for $11,133.
Comic Fam, hit the link in the description. Join the September mystery mail call. We have one per box. Trial of Magneto. Cover art done by the art director of God of War, the Michelangelo of the digital age, Raph Grassetti. Logan, with virgins going out at random for the first time, courtesy of Whatnot Comics. Support what we do. Hit ComicTom101.com to join the community. And let's talk more Spidey at number 6. Amazing Spider-Man issue 14. The first appearance of the Green Goblin.
I just mentioned how we got that iconic William Dafoe laughter in the trailer, how you saw the pumpkin bomb seemingly rolling out of the multiverse. This is also the first battle of Spider-Man and Hulk, and I wonder if we'll ever see that come to fruition. But yeah, breaking records just like Annual 1 with a 1.8, which sold for $1,225 back in May, up 27%, now selling for $1,550.
The 3.0 is up 10%. The 5.0 up 12%. The 5.5 up 9%. Then we have an 8.5. Prior record in April was $8,950. And this was post the February key alert, letting the community know that William Dafoe was rumored to be on set to reprise his role for Green Goblin, which is pretty much confirmed as of this week, now with an uptick of 20%, selling for $10,750.
But then we got the big boy, the CGC 9.2, which sold for $11,100 back in January, on its way to being a $20,000 book, with this 74% increase selling for $19,350.
Woo! A 9.2 about to break $20,000 at the list at number 5. We have Marvel Premiere number 1, a book that will not come off our list. The rebirth of him who would later be renamed Warlock by the High Evolutionary, as well as the debut of Warlock's costume, including that Soul Gem.
It's your boy Gem Mint.
That would later be revealed to be the Soul Infinity Stone.
Yeah, man, they did me dirty renaming the gems to the stones for the MCU, but I digress. Yeah, we've been reporting on all types of cameos and first appearances for Adam Warlock. We're assuming he's going to show up in the next Guardians of the Galaxy, since we got that tease at the end of the last movie, and we're still reporting on all types of record-breaking sales. A 7.5, which sold for $500 back in May, is up 25%, now selling for $625. A 9.0, which sold for $1,300 back in April, is up 60%, now selling for $2,079.
Now, if this next record breaker isn't because of the James Gunn effect, I don't know what is. This 9.8's prior record was $5,500 back in 2018, and it's lunged past the 10K marker, up 146% this week, selling for an all-new high for the first time in comic book history, a new record at $13,585.
And now moving on to number 4 on the list. It's funny, it's the second appearance that we're reporting on with Werewolf by Night 33, the second appearance of Moon Knight, and it might have something to do with that on-set footage that we saw of Moon Knight in his costume.
Considering how high the prices for Werewolf by Night 32 have gone just over this last year, never mind the increases over the last 5 years, it makes sense that members are hunting for second appearances, especially since he's on the cover. We have a 5.0 back in July selling for $300, up 33% this week, selling for $400. The 9.2 back in April could have been secured for $775. That's up 67% this week, selling for $1,298. Then we have the 9.6. July's prior record put it at $1,300. That was outdone an immense 107% this week. An increase, now selling for $2,686 this week.
Man, talk about doubling up. And speaking of seeing doubles, let's talk about number 3 on the list, Fantastic Four issue 19, the first appearance of Pharaoh Rama-Tut, who's later revealed to be Kang the Conqueror in Kang's first appearance, Avengers 8. We got a CGC 6.0, which sold for $500 back in 2019, up 180%, now selling for $1,400. A 6.5, which sold for $1,210 back in May, up 57%, now selling for $1,900. And then we have the 8.5. This book sold for $1,750 back in February, and it's up 43%, now selling for $2,500. Tom, did you know that this book is actually a double key?
Absolutely. This is the first time Stan Lee in the special announcement section utilized his catchphrase that would live on to this day. Nuff said.
Making our way to number 2 on the list, we have an iconic cover, a classic cover by John Buscema, who's joined by his brother Sal for the interior artwork. We're talking Silver Surfer 4, the first battle between Silver Surfer and Thor.
This right here might possibly be the coolest second appearance key comic book that exists because it's the second appearance of Mephisto, but it was all about this cover for so long, this classic battle between Thor and Silver Surfer. We have major record breakers this week, 2 numbers above a 50% uptick in just a handful of months, and this isn't the first time it's happened on this very list. Books that have become repeat offenders in a short period of time, exceeding a 50% uptick. This is exactly why you got to download Key Collector Comics, the best comic app in existence. Utilize the code TOM101 to unlock a free 2-week subscription. Support the show. Get access to all of this information, the tracking that's being done for you so you can monitor this rapidly moving market.
We're talking second appearances. We're talking about dual keys. We're talking about a CGC 3.5, which sold for $540 back in March. It's up 48%, now selling for $800.
We got that 9.0 on a thick, difficult to secure, and high-grade black cover. August 2020, selling for $2,250, up 73%. About to clear 4K, landing at $3,901 this week.
And let's not forget that this is a square-bound book, difficult to secure and high grade, and we have a 9.4 sale to report on. This book sold for $5,200 back in January, and it's up 60%, now selling for $8,300.
Comic fam, slap that like button. We've been doing this video every week for over a year straight without skipping a beat. Hit that subscribe button. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this list. Do you own any of these books? Do any of these books make you want to spec on something else? That's how this typically works. These books affect others in the industry. Let me know, and I'll enter you to win a TMNT 110 Peach Momoko Virgin variant and gem. Hit them with the hottest comic book in the multiverse.
You know, it had to be some Stan Lee, Jack Kirby goodness with Fantastic Four Annual 2, the origin of Dr. Doom, and everybody is wanting to see what the MCU is going to do with this character.
Annual number 2 being on the list for the first time ever and leading the list at number 1. Fantastic. We also have not just an origin issue, but a battle between Dr. Doom and Rama-Tut. We got Kang goodness in this thick book. We have 3 record breakers to report on this week.
And before we even talk about those 3 record-breaking sales, a couple of quick honorable mentions. We're talking about a 5.5, which is up 12% from its last high sale, and a 6.5 that's up 14%.
We got a 7.0 that could have been secured back in February for $1,075. That's up 14%, selling for $1,225 this week. The 8.5 could have been secured back in January for $1,180. It's up in just 9 months, 131%, selling this week for $2,726. Is it because of Rama-Tut or Victor Von Doom? Well, hit him with the 9.0 while they decide.
Yeah, 9 months is pretty impressive, but let's see what 3 years can do for a CGC 9.0, which sold for $1,575 back in 2019. It's up 300% with its all-new record-breaking sale of $6,300.
300%, comic fam. Hit that like, slap the subscribe, enter to win the giveaway, and, as always,
geek responsibly and stay minty fresh.
Enough said. We got 2 other videos for you to check out. Peep the last podcast. Fire Guy Ryan is back. We chat comic books that we're reading, comics that we're ordering, comic books that you should consider ordering, as well as underappreciated cheap books to spec on. Also, keep up with the honorable mentions video, the books that didn't quite make our Hot 10 with Gem Mint from Gem Mint Collectibles. Go follow him on his channel as well. Subscribe, take a look at some dope statues, and have a great week.